Chips! The mother of all technologies and the future of the technologies largely depends on the development of these chips. So all the smart technologies from your smartphone to your computer uses microchips, or simply chips, as their core component. As technology is being affordable more and more, people are getting techy. So to meet the demand, around 1 trillion chips are produced each year in the world. But as it is quite a sophisticated part of any smart technology, there are several companies producing them. And right now, Taiwan stands on top of all as the main supplier of chips. But China is planning to change that. How are they going to do it? And when will they be on top? We will be talking about all of that in this video. The current situation. Chips are generally evaluated in nanometers, traditionally the measure of the width of the gates in a chip's transistors. Smaller gates enable faster operations that use less energy. So advanced logic microchips are in development right now, which could lead mankind to the next level of technology. They are super delicate to manufacture, and not many companies are involved in its manufacturing. The company which is making a crucial contribution in producing these logic chips is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. They're supplying some of the top companies like Apple, Nvidia, and MediaTek. China itself right now relies much on Taiwan in the case of advanced chips, and this recent chip shortage made the whole technology world become a bit worried about this dependency on Taiwan. On top of that, the major client of TSMC is from the USA and Japan, and some serious issues are going on between China and the USA trading-wise. China's worries grew during the Trump administration, when the US effectively destroyed Huawei Technology Company's global smartphone business by forcing chip suppliers to cut it off, undermining the company's ability to make devices. US-aligned companies dominate the industry that makes the machinery needed to make chips, further complicating Chinese ambitions for self-sufficiency. Meanwhile, the semiconductor shortage, the result of COVID-era spikes in demand combined with longer-term trends, has shown how supply disruptions can wreak havoc on the global economy. So as of right now, where does China's chip manufacturing process stand? Well, truly, it is not that good. China is the world's largest consumer of chips, largely because it is the world's largest assembler of technologies that are then exported elsewhere. But they aren't the developer of these chips. Chinese firms like Huawei learned the process of manufacturing chips, although they cannot make chips. They can design them, and high-end Chinese design firms like HiSilicon would develop chip designs and give them to TSMC to produce. Simply put, they depend on Taiwan with a supply of chips. Breaking the shackles. So China, being among some of the most technologically advanced nations of the world, can't just sit there doing nothing about this situation. They're taking steps to change. At stake is nothing less than the future of the world's number 2 economy. Beijing's blueprint for chip supremacy is enshrined in a 5-year economic vision. It's a multi-layered strategy, both pragmatic and ambitious in scope, embracing aspirations to replace pivotal US suppliers and fend off Washington, while molding homegrown champions in emergent technologies. The approach entails making do over the next 5 years or so with aging semiconductors that are adequate for electric cars and even military applications, but can't run advanced smartphones and similar devices. That buys China time to focus on fields like so-called third-generation chip making, in which no country yet dominates, and Beijing hopes to create an array of indigenous giants in areas including machinery, software, and new materials. If they are successful in developing this new chip, it will surely confirm a solid position in the chip market. Semiconductors are a crucial sector in the information era that will lead the future of economic development, according to Science and Technology Minister Wang Zhiyang. At the same time, China will strive to achieve self-reliance and strengthen our own capabilities, he added. President Xi Jinping has charged Liu, a childhood confidant and close political ally, with turning things around. Liu has laid out plans to implement what he's called the whole nation system. Liu's strategy relies mainly on chips known as compound semiconductors, or third-generation chips. which are built out of new materials such as silicon carbide and gallium nitride, which theoretically leads to increasing the processing speed. Compound semiconductors present a novel approach, offering China the chance to take the lead in a field where it isn't as far behind as it is in conventional chip making. It's far from a sure bet. The US and others also see the potential in compound chips and are racing to develop them. Still, Citigroup Inc. economist Li Jiangliu sees the opportunity for China to spark rapid technological progress by going its own way instead of trying to piggyback on foreign companies. China has two advantages in this race to create the next level microchip. First, the budget, and then the manpower. China has a huge domestic market. The country plans to spend $1.4 trillion on advanced technologies through 2025. Those technologies could drive demand for third-generation chips, and Chinese chipmakers have already spent about $10.8 billion to expand their ability to build such semiconductors. Not only that, but China will also be increasing financial support for scientific research and encouraging leading companies to join national programs. Chances of success. China's history with chip making shows that money can't solve all problems. Its chip effort, which started more than 20 years ago, has been marked by unfulfilled promises, stillborn projects, and government waste. And though government initiatives have helped create some large companies, including Huahong Group in Shanghai and Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp. (SMIC), China hasn't produced a single chipmaker on the world-beating scale of the major rivals outside its borders. The best China can now make are 14-nanometer chips, though its main business currently consists of producing 28-nanometer chips and other mature technologies. By comparison, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company aims to ramp up mass production of 3-nanometer chips in 2022, putting SMIC 5 to 6 years behind, assuming it can master the processes that would get it to the top. But seeing how serious China is and the situation they are in, it might be a crucial step to become the technological supreme of the world. If they are able to crack the next generation compound chips, then they can hugely contribute to the adjacent fields like AI and quantum computing. Because these chips can operate at high frequency and in higher power and temperature environments, with broad applications in 5th-generation radio frequency chips. And do you have any kind of doubt that technologies like AI and quantum computing are the future? China is now in a position where they have to choose from either kneeling down to the USA in the world of technology, or just do something on their own to get on top. And we all know that the first one isn't happening, so we will have to see if China can actually actualize its plan to gain chip supremacy, or is it just going to be an expensive failure? That's all for now. I hope you've learned all about China's chip supremacy plan. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and turn on notifications so you're up to date on the channel's updates. See you in the next video.